Yes, guys. Ryjack back for another video. The international break once again has come to an end, and I could not be more excited. International football is not exactly the thing for me. I do love the World Cup, but these friendlies and these World Cup qualifiers, not really my thing. So I much prefer it when we get city football matches every 3 days, every 4 days, once a week, whatever it is. That's what I need injected into my veins. That's what I really need. I miss it, so I'm excited for the return and for the live streams to come back for the watch along. So do check that out for Saturday, Everton, the first game back for City. But today I want to look at City's returns from injury, everybody that's coming back to fitness, and what our best starting lineup would look like with all the players available. Because I know we're going to have injuries, but for the time being, we might have a few weeks of injury-free City football where there's no one missing. We have to make some tough decisions on starting lineups and who makes the bench and who gets left home. So I think it's really interesting. Now, before we do start, leave a like on the video, comment, sub if you're new. Almost at 500 subs, so really much appreciated, of course. But let me take a look here. We're returning players from injury. Basically, everyone's coming back. Rodri's coming back. Kusanov's coming back. Ryan Cherky coming back. Ryan Aït-Nouri coming back. Kovacic as well coming back from injury. So, I mean, it's a huge boost to the squad, obviously. However, reports out this morning, Kusanov not training today. Rodri also not training today. I'm assuming that means they're probably not going to be available at the weekend. But again, this is just looking at assuming the whole squad is ready and available. So, there's nothing that is out there that suggests Kusanov and Roger are going to be out for an extended period of time. I think maybe just one more week. And then, next week they'll be back and ready to participate. So I will pull up my lineup builder here so we can take a look together. I think starting in goal is obviously an easy one. Donnarumma will be the goalie going forward. And on the bench, you are going to have James Trafford, of course, getting the cup games and the games that, if Donnarumma somehow gets injured, he'll play. But other than that, Trafford is not getting game time. It's going to be all Donnarumma for sure. Left back is an interesting one. Do you go Nico O'Reilly, who's been amazing, or do you go the new toy, Ryan Aït-Nouri, the guy who's been injured for the last couple of weeks, months, but was a big money signing in the summer? I think going forward, you just go Nico O'Reilly. I think he's been so good that it just makes more sense to have him continue with the spot, to be honest, because he's been one of our best players. So I don't really think it's fair to just put Aït-Nouri back right in the starting 11. I think O'Reilly deserves that spot and should be the one that gets to stay for the time being. If he drops off, Aït-Nouri can come in. Aït-Nouri can come in for some rest for O'Reilly, of course. But O'Reilly's been so good, he got called up to England squad. So, I mean, he didn't play, but I think he deserves to hold down left back for the foreseeable future, to be honest. Right back, I think basically almost all City fans agree. Going forward for the time being, we're going to have Kusanov as our starting right back. And the backup should probably be Mateus Nunes. I think he's done a little bit better job than Rico Lewis when he gets minutes at right back. So that's what I would do. Personally, I don't know that we're going to see that this weekend if he's been missing from training today. But Kusanov right back, Nunes rotational right back, probably fair and probably what we're going to see going forward. The center back options are pretty straightforward. Gavardio, I think, is the locked on left-sided starter, and Ake is the rotational option for left side. And then you have Ruben Diaz, who's going to start, and the backup for him will be John Stones. Maybe John Stones can work his way into somewhat of a starting lineup appearance, but probably going forward, this back line is what we're going to see with rotational spots for Stones, Ait-Nouri, and Nunez, and I just don't think Ake is going to play very much, to be honest. Could he leave in January? Potential. Watch out for that one for sure. In the summer, I think guaranteed Ake will likely leave the club. It's just not enough minutes available for a guy that wants to be playing big minutes, I would assume. So that's my back line and my goalkeepers. The midfield, it's difficult because I think everybody would agree the starting midfield trio that is the best is probably Rodri, Tijani Reinders, and Foden. But what do you do with Ryan Cherky? What do you do with Omar Marmoush? What do you do with Doku? And I know it gets a little bit confusing there. What do you do with Oscar Bob? Do you give him minutes in the middle? I don't know that you do, but it's interesting at least to look at, I think. You got Rodri and Nico. Probably, I think that's how it will go going forward. Rodri, like I said, maybe still injured, and we could see more minutes for Nico G, but that's probably what we're going to see here. Tijani Reinders is definitely going to be a starter for the time being, and his backup, I guess, will be Kovacic. I think Kovacic is back and available. That's what we could see. The starting 10 is, in my opinion, it's going to be Foden. And then maybe Cherky is the guy who sits behind him as a rotational option. You also have Bernardo Silva, who will fit in, all over the place, right wing as well. Starter for the striker position is pretty easy. You got Holland. Of course, he's the only one that's going to play striker unless he's out and Marmoush will play. Over on the left, think you go with Marmoush as your left winger, with the backup being Savinho. It's difficult because what do you do with Jeremy Doku? I think you give Doku some minutes on the right-hand side. Personally, I think that's what you have to do because Omar Marmoush is such a talented player. Who's better on the right? I think Doku most likely be better on the right than Marmoush would be on the right. So I think that is essentially what I would do. Bob is the backup right winger. You could also have Doku over on the left. You could have Savinho over on the right. You could have Bob through the middle. You could have Bernardo on the right as well. So, in my opinion, this is the lineup and sort of depth chart of what I think we will see a lot of going forward. The only one I didn't mention or get to put in as a potential rotational player is Bernardo Silva, who of course will be all over the place. But I like it. I think it's a very, very good lineup, and it's one that is going to put us near the top of the talent pool in the Premier League and top of challenging for the Premier League. Is this the lineup we're going to see every week? No, this is more of just a visualization of what we have available. Because, Marmoush could also play striker, like I said. Savinho can switch sides. Doku can switch sides. Bob can switch sides. Foden can play on the wing. But primarily, I think this is what we do. And I think it's good enough to compete for the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup. Just my opinion, but I think City are that good. And ideally, we go on a major run over the next couple of games. So looking forward, what we've got, of course, on the fixture list, I will pull it up here. We have Everton on Saturday morning. Like I said, there will be a live watch along for that game here on the channel, of course. We'll take a look at the fixtures going forward. Tuesday, weird that we get a Tuesday Champions League game. We don't have that super often, but it is nice. Tuesday, 3 o'clock at Villarreal. Probably a must-win, to be honest. We really need that one. Villa, struggling, but should win that one. EFL Cup, Swansea, Bournemouth, it's going to be a difficult game. Dortmund, another difficult game, and probably the most difficult game of the season will be Liverpool. So in the lead up to this Liverpool game, I've talked about it before, we need to string wins together, which we have done in the Premier League, putting us in a good position, in a competing position. So, currently we're 3 points off of top, and by the time we get to that Liverpool game, maybe we'll be within striking distance where a win puts us top of the table. That's what I'm hopeful for, and I hope that's what you guys are expecting as well, because the standard of Man City is to be competing and everything. That's the standard. It is what it is. People don't like standards saying, but that's the standard. That's what the club stands for. Anyway, that is my prediction for the rest of the season and how the lineup will look. Let me know what you guys think. I do appreciate you watching. Leave a like on the way out. Comment if you disagree or agree. Let me know your thoughts. And of course, sub. Very, very much appreciate the new subs as always. Anyway, I will see you in the next one.